Hi guys, this is again Allan and welcome back to my channel. Today here in the Philippines, we are now on our 25th week of the quarantine, so I'm praying that you guys are all healthy and safe at home. Today we are gonna be having again another watercolor review. Yes, you are correct. And this time, this is again from Shopee. We are gonna be reviewing no other than SeamiArt's Arts Arch Solid Watercolors from China. I got my set at Shopee Philippines, particularly at the SeamiArt.ph account for 574 Philippine pesos or less than 13 US dollars. I ordered this on July 19 and it arrived on July 29. This set was a part of my SeamiArt art haul last July, and when this arrived, it arrived in a huge box along with the other items that I bought from SeamiArt, so it doesn't have its own box. And when it came to me, the pans were placed in a separate plastic bag. It did not come in here arranged like this. I was the one who arranged them here, and I'm not actually sure if this is a product of SeamiArt or just a rebranded because I cannot find any identification that says it's SeamiArt. But I can find only here Arts-Arch. So I believe that's its real brand. This is not the same with the solids that they sold, which has a card that says SeamiArt, and also the semi-dry which says SeamiArt in their box. So this set doesn't have any identification saying it's SeamiArt or what, only Arts-Arch. So now let's take a look at an individual half pan. So let's take one. So here it says in front Arts-Arch watercolor half pan. On this side it says here it conforms to ASTM D4236. On this side it shows here the number code, the color name, so this is Gamboge, the transparency box, and the stars for the light fastness rating. So it's cool to see light fastness rating here, but there is no pigment code, so no any other information aside from all that we have seen. So now, as you can see, 22 of the colors are wrapped in paper, while the white and the black, are not wrapped. For some reason, I don't know. I also feel that the pans of these two are slightly bigger as compared to the other 22. And I think now we're ready to unwrap our half pans. So let's do in actual speed this one to see how it is wrapped. So this wrapper of them is like sticker, which reminds me of Paul Rubens wrappers. So it unwraps very neatly. Let's do another one. Let's do it with the crimson. So that's another one. I think we need to speed up for the rest of the other colors. And by the way, there are no other markings here or codes indicated here in our half pans, so make sure you label them well so that you won't be forgetting which color is which. So for here, let's put 17 because that's the code for that color, and for the rest, let's speed it up. So now we're done unwrapping our half pans. So here they are now. Obviously these paints are dried from a mold and not poured from a liquid state in these half pans. And also, as I have predicted, the black and the white are slightly bigger. And I hope the contents are just the same. Now we are ready to do our sample painting and our swatches, and for our paper, as always, we are using Arches 185 cold pressed cotton paper, and for our brushes, I have chosen to use for the swatches my silver black velvet 1/4 inch and my Rembrandt sable brush size 4. And of course, I'm not re-wetting the half pans prior to starting, to be fair with the other sets that we have reviewed before. So I think let's go. Let's begin with this first color. They're calling it carmine. Oops, we need more water. So it's very vibrant and it also feels very transparent. Next we have crimson. So this is a warmer red as compared to the carmine. Next we have brilliant red that looks like vermilion. Also very transparent. Next is orange. Next we have flesh. This looks yellow orange only, not flesh. Next we have gamboge. So now we're done on our first line, and I can say that all the 6 colors are very transparent, very intense, very bright. They're easy to activate. Now let's go to brilliant yellow to start our second line. Wow. This serves as the primary yellow or the mid yellow here. And also carmine as the primary red or the magenta. Next is lemon yellow. Next is leaf green. This is just a yellow green. Next we have brilliant green, which is phthalo green, blue shade. Next we have deep green, which is almost very similar to brilliant green, but yeah, this deep green is a bit warmer. Maybe we need to add more paints to see its depth. Yeah, we need to add more definitely. And last on our second line is the turquoise. On the second line, all the colors are also beautiful, vibrant, and easy to activate. Now let's go to the third line. Let's begin with cobalt blue. Next, we have here shamrock. It's my first time to hear this word as a color, but this also looks like cobalt blue. It looks like a phthalo blue that uses PB15:3, right? By the way guys, this color, the cobalt blue here, is not a genuine cobalt blue. Obviously it's phthalo based, so they used an alternative pigment to copy the original, but it's obvious that it's not the PB28 or the genuine cobalt color, because that's just different. It's more on opaque and a bit warmer than this, and yeah, it's expensive, so it's not practical to include in a chipset like this. Next, they have Prussian blue. Next is a very important color in any set, the warm blue or the ultramarine, and I'm happy now because yes, it's a real ultramarine here, and I feel like it's gonna granulate. Next, we have violet. And last in this line is purple. So this color is like a magenta, the purple magenta in this set. In the third line, the colors are also all very vibrant, but I've noticed that these two colors are almost very similar. Now we go to the last line, and let's begin with yellow ochre. I think this is the first opaque color, the first absolutely opaque color. Now let's go to burnt sienna. Next is burnt umber. Now let's have gray. Now we have white. And lastly, we have black. Actually, they're calling it deep black in their Shopee images. While waiting for our swatches to dry, let's now proceed to our sample painting. For this particular artwork, I've chosen to use only 5 colors, and they are the brilliant red, brilliant yellow, deep green, ultramarine, and violet. I'll be speeding this up to save time, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment it below. So I think we're ready to start. As you can see, the colors don't actually move that quickly, and it's weird because this paper is pre-wet, but the lines are really still sharp in here, as you can see. So you need help to make them move. Now I think our sample painting is dry. We can now remove our tape. So here now is our finished sample painting. Now our sample painting and swatches are finally dry. We can now have a closer look. With regards to the color selection, they have 3 reds, 2 oranges, 3 yellows, 3 greens, 5 blues, 2 violets, 3 earth colors, a gray, a white, and a black. The color selection is okay for me, but if I will be very critical about it, I think there are too many blues. 5 blues are, I think, too many for a 24 color set. I'll be okay with just 3 or 4, and I think cobalt blue hue here and the shamrock are very similar. I think eliminate one. I think remove cobalt blue hue here and replace it with another brown, because I think it would be better to have another brown. 4 browns or 4 earth colors for a 24 color set. Maybe a raw umber or a Van Dyke brown will be a good addition to this. When it comes to the vibrancy of the colors are very intense, saturated. I have no problems about that. This almost reminds me of the intensity of the superior watercolors, so it's a good comment about the colors. When it comes to the transparency, obviously you can see that I think all the colors are very transparent now. Even the yellow ochre and the lemon yellow and leaf green, which were very opaque earlier, are now on the transparent side. I think which colors remained on the opaque side are white, of course, and the gray, because gray obviously has a white pigment in it, so that's okay. The colors or the paints are very easy also to re-wet or to activate, so that's a good thing. Here I was able to mix multiple colors. For the black color here, I combined deep green, violet, brilliant red, and ultramarine, and I think it doesn't look muddy. It looks really black, as you can compare from the black color here. So I think the colors are really deep, so it was effective in achieving very dark grays or an almost black color, so that's a good thing also. And for me, it's not muddy. Now when it comes to the chalky test, I have here with me a sheet of toilet paper, so let's rub it against our swatches and sample painting and see if we get some colors in our napkin. Now the napkin is already chipping off, but I don't see any smudges in our paper here, so I think they're not chalky. Also in our white parts, they're still clean, so I think it's not chalky. So is it perfect? Is it flawless? No, it's not. It's far from perfect. My main issue here is its movement. As you've seen earlier when I was working on the sky part and the paper was wet that time, it just created this very sharp line. As you can see, the colors don't actually move that quickly, and it's weird because this paper is pre-wet. So it was weird because it was supposed to move because it was wet. The paper was wet. Okay, so I had to help it for it to move, for it to spread beautifully. So that would be a huge issue to a lot of artists. But for me, I was able to handle it. And also I was able to use it to my advantage when I made the mountain part. So yeah, it is very prone to, you know, getting hard edges, hard lines, and I think it's also obvious in some of our swatch colors, like in here. You can see here in turquoise, even in violet, and in cobalt blue. I think it's also obvious in these 4 colors. But just for me, it's a minor issue because all the other advantages that I have mentioned earlier are more important just for me. Okay, so I know to a lot of artists the movement is a top priority. So if you're watching this, just take note of those things that I have mentioned. Now we are in our favorite part, which is the comparison portion, and let's begin with a set of paints that are less performing as compared to the SeamiArt's Arch watercolors. Okay, so let's begin with the bottom 5. First is the Best Buy watercolors. Next is Symbolion watercolors. Now we have Dong A Creative, Sterling Arts watercolors, and the Giorgione watercolor cakes. Now let's go to the other sets. We have here Faber-Castell solid watercolor, Sakura Koi pocket filled sketchbox, Reeves watercolor, Pentel watercolor fine, Art Ranger watercolors in tubes, Faber-Castell tubes, Maris watercolors in half pans, Maris watercolors in tubes, Pebeo Studio watercolors, Prang Watercolors 2019, and Prang Watercolors 2007. I know a lot of you will not agree on this, that the SeamiArt's Arch watercolors set is better than Prang Watercolors 2007 and 2019. Well, that's my opinion, and I hope you also, respect and accept that. If you would like to hear my explanation, here is my explanation. The SeamiArt's have split primaries. We have here the magenta, the cool yellow, and these two are the cool blues, and a warm red, a warm yellow, and a warm blue. Here they only have mid yellow, mid blue, and a mid red. So the warm and the cool of the primaries are missing here, so that for me is very important. And also all the colors are more vibrant in SeamiArt's Arch watercolors. So overall for me, this set is better as a watercolor set. None of these two brands gave us the pigment codes, so light fastness is not an assurance in these sets, although SeamiArt have provided their own rating. Now let's go to the watercolor sets that are very, very comparable to the SeamiArt's Arch watercolors. Let's start with the SeamiArt solid watercolors. But if I still need to choose, I'd go with Art's Arch because the colors are more transparent overall as compared to the SeamiArt solid watercolors 50 colors. Next we have Pretty Excellent watercolors. I'd still go with Pretty Excellent watercolors because they are on the same price range, yet Pretty Excellent has more colors. And also they have, I think, better documentation of their brand. Next we have SeamiArt semi-dry watercolors. Now I think I'd go still with the SeamiArt semi-dry watercolors. They have better presentation. You get more paints in here as compared to the half pans of SeamiArt's Arch. Now we have the Superior brand, and I think they're very comparable when it comes to intensity, but maybe for the price I'd go for the Superior watercolors. But it's just, I think it's very similar. It will just boil down to the type of container, because usually the Superior watercolors are in plastic or in some fancy improvised, designed palettes, while the SeamiArt's Arch are placed in a tin container, so that adds to the price. And lastly are the Himi Mia Gouache and the Mia Himi solid watercolors. I think the Mia Himi solid watercolors are very deep and vibrant, but they're twice more expensive for less colors, but it comes with a very unique container. So I think if the budget is not an issue, I'd go with the Mia Himi solid watercolors. Now our next set of paints are these student grade paints and artist grade paints that are all better as compared to SeamiArt's Arch watercolors. I think this is no contest already, because we are now giving some of the best student grade brands, and of course the artist grade paints. So let's begin with the Sonnet watercolors, the Winsor & Newton Cotman, Winsor & Newton China, Van Gogh 20 new colors, Van Gogh 12+3 half pan set, Hokuyo Kamlin Camel watercolors from India, Lucas Aquarelle 1862, Prima Marketing Tropicals watercolors, Mary's Masters watercolors, Paul Rubens watercolors, Mungyo Professional watercolors, Winsor & Newton Professional, Egal Yohani watercolors, Holbein Artist watercolors, Holbein Botanical Art watercolors, White Nights watercolors 36 colors full pan set, White Nights watercolors tubes 24 colors, Rembrandt Luxury Pocket Box set half pans, Mijello Mission Gold 36 colors tube set, Mijello Pure Pigment set 26 colors, Daniel Smith Extra Fine watercolor sticks, and the Daniel Smith Ultimate Mixing set. So now, if you are gonna ask me would I recommend the SeamiArt's Arch watercolors, my answer is yes. Okay, I think the price is reasonable for around 600 or less than $13 US. You already have a pan set, a 24 color pan set like this. I think it's not bad because the colors are mostly transparent, very vibrant, very easy to activate. They're not muddy, they're not chalky as you've seen earlier, with only issues on movement as the main difficulty in using this set. I think that's acceptable for me and manageable. But yeah, you have seen all the sets that are very comparable to these. Usually the other SeamiArt's set, the Mia Himi and the Superior, and the Pretty Excellent sets, which are almost in the same price range. But if you want a more reliable set or a better set than this that is not also gonna hurt your budget, I think you can go with the Sonnet watercolors. They're almost the same price range, but these comes in full pan, so please consider that. And these are not bad. They're very easy to use and I was happy using it. But if this is the best for your budget, you need to think about it very well and weigh your options. Consider your other options and your location, your budget. But if this is the only set that is reachable in your current place or budget, then by all means this is a good set. But if you are planning to sell your paintings or work professionally with your paintings, please choose some artist grade paints and choose your pigments well, because you don't want your paintings to fade over time, because it will fade along with your credibility. So I hope you take that #1 tip from me. That's what I'm always very much after for the life of your paintings. So I think that would be all for SeamiArt's Arch watercolors. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me at the comment box. I'll be responding as soon as I find all the time for you. Please be patient with me. If you have any suggestions, please give me suggestions to review or for content. I'm really listening to all of you. I'm actually listing down all your suggestions in an Excel file. Yeah, that's true. So for those who are not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to my channel to show support. And also please don't forget to like and share this video. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. So I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching and see you again next week.